And welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. We've got another interesting video tonight coming. Oh my God, dear God, there's been an X-class solar flare. We'll cover it. And lots more tonight at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And by the way, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you discover our weekend special. We're going to be doing an extended live stream talking about the origin of the channel. So make sure you check that out. More information on that later. Make sure you follow our community posts. So this is just 1 hour of solar activity there at only 10 frames per second. We usually show 30 frames per second. Now we're showing 10 frames per second because it's well worth it for the latest X-class solar flare coming out of sunspot 3576. So there's a little zoomed out version of that. Again, that's only 1 hour. That's just 6:30 to 7:30 this morning, Universal Time. Another exciting day for space weather. And of course, we'll show you lots more information about that, like this extreme close-up. How's that? Is that close enough for you? Yeah, just to give you an idea of the scale of what happens on stars. Stars, they're big. These videos are not designed to make you feel small. And we've also got 304 angstroms by itself here. X-class flare showing up on February 16th, 2024. And the best thing is, folks, we're not even at solar maximum yet, and we've still got quite a ways to go. You can expect another, 15, 16 months of such activity, so fantastic stuff going on. So we're going to come at you with some more solar imagery here in a moment. First, let's do this week's Particle Physicist segment, hosted by my pal from Minsk, Belarus. It's the magician from Minsk. It's Eugene the Philosopher. It's our Ask a Particle Physicist segment, so take it away, Eugene.
Okay. Peer review process. So, what it is essentially is when you write a paper, you send it to the journal. They give it to 2 or 3, depends on the journal, or maybe sometimes more people who are your peers in air quotes. So people who are engaged in research in the same area of study that your paper relates to. Okay, so and they read your paper. They evaluate it. Usually journals have some criteria that they ask the reviewers to, just fill in the blanks, how well researched it is, how well referenced it is, are the methods good, etc., etc. So they review your paper and kind of evaluate it on this basis, the reviewers, obviously, and they kind of give their feedback to the journal, and then the journal may decide whether your paper deserves to be published. Okay, so in a way it's kind of a vehicle to spread the responsibility out, kind of alleviate journals' responsibility a little bit, and also save editors' time a little bit, so you have someone else basically evaluating the paper in the first place, etc., etc. And keep in mind that the reviewers are usually not paid, so this is kind of a pro bono type of job, if you wish. So yeah, and they are anonymous, by the way, so only the editor knows who is doing the review. The author of the paper doesn't. Okay, so this is another feature which supposedly makes the process, and I'm not even sure. I think the reviewers also do not know the author of the paper, so it's kind of blind on both ends. All right, but yeah. So supposedly it makes the treatment of research more fair, if you wish, this anonymity etc. So supposedly it's a good system, right? And that's why people love it so much. However, in recent times, and I completely agree with them, like a lot of opinions surface that criticize peer review, and I agree with most of them. So, what kind of criticism you may offer? Well, for example, like this anonymity, it basically relieves any responsibility from the reviewer. They might just say, okay, I don't like this paper, it's garbage, just don't publish it, okay? And we know like people are different, their opinions are different. Like if you've ever been at some scientific conference, you can see like even well-respected, in air quotes, professors, argue against each other, like argue about something. So they have different opinions. They sometimes adhere to different like methods, different theories, even, etc., etc. So the anonymity, by virtue of relieving the reviewer of any responsibility, really, like it may hinder, the progress in science, because, well, your paper may be just not published because the reviewers didn't like it. As I've said, they're not even paid for it, so why would they bother? They have an incentive to just say, no, thank you, don't publish this, all right? So in general, I would say that peer review is great as a gatekeeping device. It's probably decently good in like maintaining the status quo type of science, like the current level, the current standards in science, but it's incredibly bad for any sort of progress. Like if you think about it on a fundamental level, since I'm a philosopher, right? Like what does a peer review means? It means you must have peers, right? Well, imagine you've just discovered like a completely new branch of science, right? You're basically the first guy who ever worked in it, all right? You wouldn't have any peers, right? So who's gonna review your paper? It's just gonna be cancelled, It's not gonna be published because you don't even have any peers in the first place, all right? By definition. So yeah, and there's a lot of negative things like that because of this, and like it's not an ultimate answer in the first place, even for keeping like the climate of science healthy. Like you may have heard about a lot of scandals with like fraudulent research, essentially it's like scams. Even like well-respected people, again in air quotes, are sometimes engaged in this, like Nobel laureates and stuff. So peer review apparently like somehow passed this fraudulent research was published. It passed through peer review, so and all the reproducibility crisis, etc., etc., etc. So you can't even say that peer review is very good at what it's supposed to do. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I mean it's somewhat good, but a lot of crap still seeps through. Firstly, and secondly, a lot of good stuff doesn't, just by virtue of being too novel, or maybe the reviewers were stupid, etc., etc. And with regards to this, how that process relates to the most plausible explanation of what stars are made of, like I don't think it's related at all. Okay, like I know Robitaille used to publish his papers in Progress in Physics. It's a pretty good journal in the sense that it is actually very open. I'm not even sure if their reviewers are anonymous. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but I know they are kind of friendly to novel research. It's one of these kinds of journals. But other than that, I don't have any comments on this. I guess that would be all.
Is he done being a science denier yet? Eugene the philosopher? Is it it's all right, thank goodness. We apologize if we've offended anybody with that video. Keep in mind, folks, I have no idea what he's gonna say. I put the video up. If he said, unsubscribe from this channel right now, it's terrible, we wouldn't know. It would be too late. We'd premiere the video and just be like, oh, Oh no, I've been peer reviewed. Oh. If you want to contribute, check out smashomash.com/forum. And you may have to worry about doomsday or not. I don't know. But you can contribute that way. You can ask a particle physicist a question. The best place is at the forum, a place where we control the internet and we don't censor it. In other words, if you anything legal that you post there will remain there. The only thing that would prevent you from posting would be crime. Crime would be the only thing that we would not allow to be said. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to Eugene the Philosopher, or your soul will be cast into an ever-deepening and darkening abyss of doom, destruction, and doggy diarrhea. Nothing's worse than that. And keep in mind, folks, some of Eugene's video titles and or thumbnails may be designed to get you to click. Who has ever heard of such a thing? How dare he do that? Oh my God, does he have some clickbaity titles, folks? Oh, noes. Throw that guy in jail like Bach. Yeah, did you know Bach was thrown in jail? That's a thing. I looked it up. Yeah, Bach. J.S. Bach. Well, I kind of looked it up. I looked it up by watching a YouTube video about it. J.S. Bach was thrown in jail for trying to quit his job. How do you like them apples? That's a little bit of Baroque period maneuvering. Anyway, let's get to earthquakes and volcanoes. First, volcanoes. Obviously, there is Semeru, is it? Semeru. Yeah, Semeru, located near the Kamchatka Peninsula in the northwestern Pacific. Looks like a volcano people don't want to get particularly close to, and I don't blame them. It's pretty nasty. It's been exploding and producing a nearly 20,000-foot ash plume. Sakurajima also erupting. And folks, public service message. Please do not pole vault the caldera. Don't pole vault the caldera. If you're doing field events, shot put into the caldera if you like. Throw a discus into the caldera. Don't pole vault the caldera. Thanks. Also, Ibu is erupting. Let's don't forget Semeru, Merapi, Dacono, Popocatépetl. Go ahead, say it aloud, folks. Popocatépetl. It has an accent mark to remind you how to pronounce it. Popocatépetl. Fuego and Nevado de Ruiz and Sabancaya also erupting. Next, earthquakes. There are the past 90 days. We're overdue for a large earthquake right now, and the west coast of the U.S. should be on alert because we keep seeing earthquakes up the wazoo, up the yin-yang, or something. So yeah, lots of quakes on the western plate boundary for the North American plate there, folks. So if you're in the leftern part of the country, then make sure you are aware of that, because any earthquake can be a foreshock. Anyway, here are the quakes of a 5 and greater magnitude. I'll call them out for your listening pleasure, to prevent your souls from being cast into an ever-deepening and darkening abyss. There was a 5.1 magnitude quake in the Japan region. There's the location. It was at 11:01 this morning. Isn't that special? I mean, special. I apologize. I made that error on purpose. Vanuatu also erupting. That's it. It's been quiet for 5 and greater magnitude earthquakes, as I've said clearly, there is an earthquake drought occurring. So there's that. Earthquake drought alert. Statistical analysis is the way to forecast earthquakes. Not some spooky space, galaxies, black holes. The ionosphere, I don't see it. I see statistical analysis as the way to forecast earthquakes, and that's it. It's not because the universe is electric. It's not because stars are electric. It's not because stars are information centers, or because the Hebrew alphabet is magic. But yeah, lots of quakes around the Pacific Rim. So, cheers. And some space weather stats. The radio flux is quite a bit down. I think it's at 168 now. 168, 169. I was close. So, a bit of a dip in the radio flux there. I think there's a beefy sunspot about to arise in the northeastern limb, but I'm looking over here at the Twitch feed. You can always look at our Twitch channel. We just have the GOES 16 SUVI running all day long on the Twitch channel, just in case we have any crazy eruptions that we want to check out. It's always there for your viewing pleasure. Anyway, let's get back to this. Okay, radio flux 169. It's down quite a bit. It made it all the way up to over 200 to 209 in the last peak, and the second highest peak we've had in the entire solar cycle. So it's only ever been up to, let's see, what's that, 212? 212, I think, is the highest it's been. And, yeah, that's, the radio flux. So no space weather is on the way, at least according to the 3-day forecast, but we do have some major CMEs, so we'll get to that here in a minute. And but first, the current data, and it's pretty calm. So I will be right back. Actually, I'll play the ground magnetic perturbations map, and then I'll step away, and then I'll return, and then we'll move on. But last 4 hours, pretty calm as far as geomagnetism. There's the ground level magnetic perturbations map. And if you don't know what that is, leave us a comment. So, yep, there's the past 4 hours, and currently we have a KP almost zero, KP 0.33. So this is a perfect example of how, if you're spooked of a lack of space weather, now is the time to bunker up. Oh, bunker up, folks. Bunker up. Because, of course, the only thing more dangerous than an active sun is an inactive sun, right? Says some YouTube channels. Some YouTube channels they're like, we're not sure if an active sun or an inactive sun is scary, so we'll tell you reasons that both things are scary. And neither things are scary. They think your house is going to burn down because of an active sun, and they think that you're going to devolve into an ape or something because of an inactive sun. So, I don't know. It's all in good fun, except people believe this nonsense, and it's pretty bizarre. So here's the solar wind data, and it's pretty boring. It's a very nominal solar wind, nothing funky going on. So very nominal. I mean, 6 protons per cubic centimeter at 395 kilometers a second is extremely, just almost uninteresting. So yeah, that's what's going on. Not a lot. GOES magnetometers, nothing going on. Top view ecliptic plane field plot. Is Earth in a South Pole current sheet? A South Pole magnetic sector? Nope. North Pole sector persists. There's a last image. Stereo B is in a South Pole sector, but the Earth and Stereo A are in a North Pole sector. Shown there. Yeah, that's right, there. In green. There's our line of sight field plot. Very nice. Folks, did you know that if you're viewing the videos on a mobile device like mine, if you're using Android OS and the YouTube app, did you know that you can actually zoom in 8 times on the video? So we display a lot of pixels on the channel. So just so you're aware of that, if you want to look at that more closely, you can. We don't necessarily make shorts of everything that we do. So just letting you know that all the data is there in massive detail for about 6 years. So, there's the line of sight coronal hole plot. So that's a sneaky thing about our channel that you may not have known. It's a data archiving service dating back to 6 years with details similar to what we cover today. Just in case you wanted that level of detail about what's going on with the sun, heliophysicists, you're welcome. You know, I'm almost like Nick Burns, your company's computer guy. You know, do you ever see the SNL sketch with Jimmy Fallon? A lot of people don't like Jimmy Fallon, and I don't care. Because funny is funny. If you like somebody or not, if they're funny, it's funny. So who really cares? You know, Nick Burns, a company's computer guy, he'll fix your computer, then he's gonna make fun of you. That guy? Well, yeah. I was originally a computer science / math major. I just decided to get the hell out of that industry because you want to type code for 30 years? Is that, you want to copy paste and type code and code libraries and you want to code and code and code? Then go for that. That's a great idea. Otherwise, don't do that, because that's what you'll do. You'll code and code and code. Of course, now people are writing code so that they can write code that writes code, which is, nobody ever thought of that. Isn't that revolutionary, Smash Staff? Isn't it amazing that somebody came up with the idea of writing code that writes code? Wow! Oh! Slow clap for all of those computer geniuses out there who discovered AI or virtual reality. Right? My favorite shit is Mark Zuckerberg's nonsense. Like, he thinks he's some kind of pioneer in VR or something. It's like, dude, I was playing first-person shooters in the late 1980s. So, I figured out a way to have your meeting in a VR room. You just got to wear goggles. I love that. He thinks he's a pioneer in VR and AI. It's cute. I love it. So anyway, just hilarious. Anyway, sunspot number is at like 142 or something, 142. Here's our, who cares, our synoptic map. Things are pretty boring, really. I mean, that's what's going on. There's a lot of lulls to be had. If you like lulls, we've got a heap and helping of lulls. Goes proton flux. We have a little spike there. Oh, that means things are spooky. Look, there's a little spike in the proton flux. Oh no, cancel your polar flight, folks. The real question is radiation good for you or bad for you? And how much? And what type? And where is it at? Like, everybody, like, some people think that a lot of space weather is bad, and some people think a little space weather is bad. And both of these ideas are just, they make no sense at all. Like, they don't understand how telluric currents work, and they're like, ooh, I live on the equator, and I'm spooked of space weather. Are you? I mean, do you own a magnetometer? Have you like run the numbers on where you're likely to be while your magnetometer's running? Have you gathered the data on what the telluric currents are likely to be by having a magnetometer running for months where you live? No. Oh. You know, Well, you're definitely not going out and looking at clouds and going, ooh, I've forecasted space weather. Please don't do that. That's it. Earth weather is not space weather, okay? Tamitha Skov and I and other people aren't idiots. We don't think that you're not gonna like give us some crazy revolutionary info by telling us, hey, space weather and Earth weather, they're just the same thing. Because we get that all the time. People are like, a thing happens instantly. Yes, things do happen, but they tend to be minuscule things. So, I mean, people think the rapture is because the sun is going to have a big solar flare and people on the one side of the planet are going to fly off or something. Am I right? I'm right. Anyway, moving right along with space weather dictatorship, I will preach to the choir of those who refuse to acquire nonsense in their brains and show you more data. Like that, Saturn is setting. Oh my God, look at, oh no, Saturn, it's the second largest planet. Oh my God, Saturn, it's setting. Oh, what am I gonna do? Do you remember in the year 2020? The year 2020, all right, I think it was like May or June, Jupiter and Saturn were in line with each other. And when I say in line, I mean hundreds of millions of miles apart from each other. And when they were in line with each other, the Earth moved right between them. And people were like, oh no, spooky things are gonna happen, folks, spooky things, oh my God. And guess what happened? Nothing. And then later that year, in like September, they were lined up in the evening sky, and people said, oh no, spooky things, I swear to God, are going to happen. And we're like, dude, spooky things aren't going to happen. All the spooky cyclicity, oh, but you might be seeing a nested cycle. I'm not spooked of your nested cycle. Smash Staff, are you spooked of... How many nested cycles have you seen? Oh, but this one's going to be spooky because my research is special, right? Anyway, continuing right along to our solar system forecast. If this solar system forecast makes you mad because, oh look, no, Earth is alone. There's no planets here. Look out. You're going to die. You're going to die. Because look, no planets. The only thing spookier than lots of planets is no planets, folks. Oh, my God. Anyway, here's your forecast. There's where things will be on. Oh, wait, that's an 8-day forecast. Oh, geez, look, I'm cherry-picking data now, folks. Oh, I've cherry-picked. Oh, I showed an 8-day forecast. Check it out. Here's our astronomy photo of the day. It's a comet. It's going to be around. People are going to freak out, and they're going to drink Kool-Aid with cyanide in it because there's an ion tail. And look, a comet. It proves space is electric. I told you space is electric because comets are a thing. Now that I got that out of my system, it's some comet that's going to be around. It's going to be at perigee. Where is it? It's at a place. Look at that thing. Oh my God, it's at a place. It's at a place nowhere near you, by the way. Of course, this does mean doomsday is upon us because a comet will be around at... Here's your forecast for when your soul will be cast into the river Styx. Oh, that was February 11th. Oh my God. Oh, look. The perihelion passage will be only 2 minutes. I mean, 2 weeks after the April 8th the total solar eclipse. Only 2 weeks after the April 8th solar eclipse, folks. Which you know what that means, right? You'll never live to see the solar eclipse because spooky comet will be... Wait. Is it going to kill us before the solar eclipse or after the solar eclipse? Have you looked that up? Check out Suspicious Observers and Sloppenheimer Stench Project. All right. Anyway, spooky comet will be out of place at a time. And if you're there, make sure you're not wearing those black and silver Nike sneakers. You know what all you shoe people, ha 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 ha, yes, you know what I'm talking about. Those black and silver Nikes. If those go on sale when that comet is around, or if there's a big production run of black and silver Nikes, you better be at a place where... Anyway. CMEs are next, and there have been massive CMEs. Just crazy berserk ones. And let's show those quickly. Because guess what? They're not very exciting. I know, they look awesome, but that's 64 frames from today, and some exciting frames there. I'll admit that. What I won't admit is that they're exciting. They just look cool. Because they're not earthly directed. So, I mean, if they're not earthly directed, your soul has neglected to cast itself into the river Styx. Because non-earthly directed CMEs are... Wait, maybe those are spooky. They change the overall mass of the solar system's location. Ooh, they change the barycenter, folks. Oh, no, the barycenter. That's my favorite one. People always say that. They say, hey, dude, the barycenter of the solar system controls everything and sunspot cycles. Unless you read any research about it, then you don't think that. Anyway, more sweet CMEs. And absolutely nothing to be spooked of in any way. Next, what are we looking at? Where are we at? We're completely out of phase here. We're out of phase like the solar polar fields. Oh no, they're out of phase. What are we gonna do? Wait for the cycle to progress is what we're gonna do, and that's what something like 140 sunspots looks like. So, cheers. Oh yeah, some more imagery of that flare, right? You want to see that X-class flare, that one that just popped off down there? All right. I think we should probably do something like that. That might be smart. So these are 24-hour videos. We are seeing some flares from the southeastern limb down there. Here we're getting a little bit closer. And go back to 10 frames per minute. That's only 1 hour once again. 1 hour. It's the SDO 131 angstroms. And here's an even closer view if that wasn't close enough for you. If this doesn't suffice, well, that's the extent to which we're going to zoom in, so. In other words, too doggone bad. Here's 94 angstroms also. So that was pretty good. And we're going to get to the CMEs here next. I mean, I guess we might as well since we've, you know, already shown them from some other views. But, yeah, they're not earthly directed. I don't think any of them are. They're all far side or on the limb. So if you disagree, let us know in the comments. We always appreciate constructive criticism. And fun fact, we don't delete anybody's comments or mute anybody on the channel. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we don't delete comments or mute anybody. You know why? Because it's not necessary in a scientific discussion. It's not necessary. People will argue and be incoherent, of course. We give them the last word and be polite. So, yeah. I mean, if you are an imbecile, we may call you an imbecile, but chances are we won't, because it probably won't be necessary. You'll be convinced of facts by being presented with facts. Most people are. That's why they're so controversial. Oh, noes. Watch out, folks. Facts. Oh, no, doomsday is not in the forecast. Once again. Once again, folks, doomsday not in the forecast. Yeah, there you go. To quote, what does he call? How 2000? Everything's fine now, Dave. And we didn't even have to murder anybody with an airlock. So, there you go. Cheers. That's the last 24 hours on the closest star. And it's been exciting, just not really for Earth's perspective. Maybe this is proof that all the CMEs point toward the planets. You know, while the Earth is alone on this side of the solar system. I'm just kidding, folks. I think that's an absolutely ridiculous idea. The likelihood of earthly directed CMEs is really high because there are a lot of sunspot groups on the Earth side of the solar disk. We're approaching solar maximum. There are a massive number of filaments, and all of the things are there for continued awesome space weather. Anyway, let's get the filaments here because this video is getting very lengthy and I'm ranting. So there we go. That's Cerro Tololo. And massive filaments on the Earth side of the disk. So expect CMEs to continue. We still do have a likely X-flare watch. We have an X-flare watch going on for the southwestern limb as well as the northeastern limb. So we got two corners down here and up here. Very high likelihood of... Oh, and also this sunspot has activated, so we are seeing some stuff there. Anyway, we'll get to bonus features here. We just had an M-class event down here in the southwest. And geez, yeah, lots of stuff going on for space weather, so continuing on. Bonus features. Charging hazards. There ain't none. Electron flux. Kinda low. For like, geez, how long is that? Couple of months? Couple of months with very low electron flux at the ionosphere level. So, there is the forecast model by NOAA. No arguments. Here come the ionosphere data sets. I'm leaving it in this screen mode. I don't care. There's the ionosonde, the raw vibrational frequency by itself. Again, there are a lot of pixels displayed. If you're viewing this on a mobile device, you can zoom in on that if there's any reason to. So, the YouTube app allows you to zoom in, I think, 8 times. It's quite good. Anyway, here is the anomalygram, anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. Again, make sure you join us this weekend. We'll be doing an extended live stream talking about the origin of the channel and inviting people to just come to the Discord chat. And you'll be able to just pop in. You'll just be able to be on the channel and actually talk on the channel in real time. In real time, minus about 9 seconds, something like that. So yeah, if you haven't seen the Discord channel, it's got a permanent invite link at smashomash.com, the homepage. Here's our WAM, the whole atmosphere model. And don't forget to carelessly whisper our URL to all your friends and also your foes. Eliminate their woes by showing them nonsense on YouTube. We just present facts. They're so controversial, you'll never tune in again. You'll unsubscribe and cry in the comments section. Should have known better than to be annoyed. Wait, all right, let's end this Wham cover now and close out the video with the latest. It's looking pretty weak, really. But we do have some flaring action happening, so take a quick look. Yeah, it's a beta gamma class sunspot. So I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on to meteorology and make it quick. I've told myself to make it quick. So I guess I'll do that. Right. So yeah, meteorology is a thing. So here we go. Check it out. It's the waviest place in the world. 37 footers there in the North Pacific. The highest seas in the world. About 38-foot waves there near Kamchatka. Anyway, here come the rest of our meteorology stats, and we're going to blast through at warp speed. Surface winds of the east. Get that out of here. Jet streams of the east. Jet streams of the central world. Surface winds. Surface winds of the west and the jet streams. Clouds and fog. A closer view as some weather rolls into Pennsylvania. Expecting some snow tomorrow. Always delighted to see snow as I work remotely. What about you? Let us know in the comments. Next, we've got a pressure lines map as well as humidity. So quite a lot of moisture there over the northeastern U.S., northern U.S., and around the southwestern U.S. That map depicts humidity and barometric pressure. Pressure. Are you under pressure? Well, visit the weather.gov map. It might relieve your pressure. If you have weather alerts, obtain them there. Tell your friends and foes how to forecast the weather by viewing our channel. And see great forecasts like this from tropicaltidbits.com. Yeah, tropicaltidbits.com. Look at the massive snows coming to California. Crazy snow totals coming to California. Check it out. DAG, 72-hour GFS, pressure and precipitation. Next, accumulated snowfall in inches for the 72 hours. And quite a bit of snow coming to the hot air capital of the U.S. Check it out. The hot air capital of the U.S., folks. Colorado. Colorado getting blanketed in snow. How much does all that hot air contribute to global warming, folks? Next, our accumulated precipitation map. And what do we got? What do we got? Some heavy persips coming mainly to California. Also to the Gulf states. Shout out to Mothra, Florida. Gonna get plastered there with some heavy rains. 4 inches of rain across large portions of Florida. It's going to cause some flooding. You watch. So the jet stream here is still really, really jacked up. That's the past. That's the 72-hour forecast for the jet stream. And yeah, the jet stream is really, really broken up in the northern hemisphere. sudden accelerations of it and things. That's interesting. Last but not least, temperature anomaly. And I don't remember ever seeing the jet stream looking like that at this time of year especially. But there's our temperature anomaly forecast. 72-hour GFS. It is in degrees Celsius. Celsius degrees. And Tropical Tidbits, once again, is where to get your forecasts if you like. TropicalTidbits.com. We've also got lightning. Let's see what's going on. We've got lightning in Nashville. Yeah, Nashville, as it's known. Right as the day-night line shows up, just as the sun sets. A little bit of lightning activity happening there. Oh, what do we got? We refreshed. What do we have? I'm over it. Here's a lower 48. Doppler, clouds and fog, and water vapor. Here's a recap. Doppler radar shows vertical motion in the air column. Ice crystals and water droplets. Here is clouds and fog. Shortwave radiation from the satellite and water vapor, 6.61 micrometer infrared radiation. Here's me signing off. May that solar wind be at your back.